Hi, this is 365801 and I'm going to be doing my reading survey for the year 2021. So this is the first time that I'm going to be doing the reading survey. It's a really good way to evaluate your reading for the year. I wish I had done it in previous years because then I could compare and contrast, but this is going to be the first one that I actually go through properly. It's also kind of like a superlatives tag because there's loads of great questions like what is your favourite character, what's your favourite debut author, what's your favourite debut work, what made you cry the most, and so it helps you to kind of understand what were the best things or worst things about your reading year. So I'm really excited. So the first question is, how many books did you read for this year? And I actually don't know if I managed to get to my goal, which is the next question. Did you reach your reading goal? Which was 365, and I managed to reach it, and I know I did. So that was kind of enough for me. I know it's just a little bit over, but there were a few things that I didn't actually record. So yes, I did, and it was roughly around 370. The next question is, how many pages did you read? And according to Goodreads, it was 67,706. The next question is, what was your most read genre? And I would say it was romance, because if I was reading male or gay romance or boys love manga, they're all in the romance genre. Whether it was prose or manga doesn't really matter because that's the medium through which I read the genre, which was romance. Next is, what was the longest that you read? Love is an Illusion for the webcomic, Thousand Autumns for the prose, and I think it was The Night Beyond the Tri-Cornered Window because I read 9 volumes of that manga. The shortest, according to Goodreads, was The Christmas Dinner at Reynolds Hall. In terms of the manga, I think it would probably be something on Futekia. The next question is, what is your favourite 2021 release? And I'm finding this one the most difficult to answer when it comes to my absolute favourite, because I don't tend to keep up to date with when things are being released or the things that I've purchased. I did buy quite a few Sublime titles, just not that many, and none of them are like woo amazing for me anyway. Twittering Birds came out and I managed to get obviously volume 4 and volume 5. Volume 6 I hope to get. I loved Twittering Birds, that was brilliant, and I'm really glad that we've got more of it. In terms of prose, there are a few that were like part of series that came out, so I was like really glad that Subtle Blood came out so I could read the full Will Darling series. That was great. Obviously we got The Night Beyond the Tri-Cornered Window, volumes 8 and 9. Great to have these as part of series. I Hear the Sunspot, volume 3 for Limit, volume 5 overall. That's also a continuation of a series. So there wasn't that many that were just one-off things. So I have to say probably My Summer Review, Nagisa Furuya. This is a Kodansha title and I got it free through NetGalley as a digital copy and I really enjoyed it. So in terms of manga, that might be it, except that there were a ton of really good titles that were on Futekia this year. There were some absolutely terrible ones, but the great ones were really enjoyable. So probably maybe a Futekia title, which is kind of surprising. So yeah, I don't actually know. I can't decide. The next question is, what is your favourite 2021 debut? This is a lot easier for me to answer. The ones that just came to mind straight away was the Passing Playbook from LGBTQIA+ YA with a bit of romance in. I thoroughly enjoyed reading that one as prose, and I would have to say probably Boys Run the Riot as well. I once again got a copy from NetGalley and I thoroughly enjoyed that too, and it just so happens that both of these titles have to do with trans issues, and yeah, just really enjoyed both of these a lot. So yeah, they were great debuts. So the next question is, what is your favourite older title? So this is a title that was not released in 2021. And this is kind of hard because so many of the titles that I read that were older were rereads or shit. But in terms of prose, Royally Screwed was not released in 2021. I know that And I really enjoyed it. So that was new to me. It was a new to me author, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was really good. And also Close the Last Door Volume 2. It's a physical volume. It's from an author I love, and I was so happy to have it. So it really made my day to be able to read it, and I enjoyed it in the story and the characters. It was just, it was like a warm hug. Next is what book lived up to the hype. Now that's all to do with your expectations. So if you expect it to be good, and it is, then that's great. But if it's even just a little bit bad, you're like, oh, it kind of ruins it. So what lived up to the hype? I have to say, when it comes to the prose, Captive Prince, because I had expectations. People were going on about this. It's been in my consciousness for many years now. People really enjoy and love this series. So I was hoping and expecting it to be good, and it was, especially the second book. The two of them just running around the countryside, having little adventures with themselves, getting up to nonsense and pretending to be people that they're not. Oh, it's just so stupid and silly, and I really enjoyed Captive Prince overall. When it comes to the manga, a manga that I personally hyped myself, like I hyped this up, was Blue Morning, and oh my god, did it live up to all of my internal hype, because I was just like, I have to love this. I have to. It's perfect. It's got everything I want and love in a manga. Must love this. Hidaka Shoko, so good. So 100% lived up to the hype. I will always love this manga now, from now until eternity. The next one is what book did not live up to the hype. And that's kind of an easy one when it comes to the prose, and that is Red, White and Royal Blue. And that's because so many people just kept going on about how fantastic it was. So I was like, brilliant, this is bound to be a 5-star read. It's gay romance, and yet everyone loved it. It was so big. And I only felt it was like, okay, like just okay, not amazing, not fantastic, just okay. And in that way it's disappointing, because it's just okay, and there's things about it that I didn't particularly like, and there was things about it I really loved and I wanted more of and I didn't get, which is why I ended up reading Royally Screwed, which gave me everything that I was after. So yeah, unfortunately Red, White and Royal Blue when it comes to the prose. When it comes to the manga, I'm going to break a few hearts here. The book that did not live up to the hype, sorry, Dick Fight Island. Sacrilegious! I know, it's like one of the biggest sellers, it's one of the biggest hyped, it was so popular. Loads of people who don't read BL manga bought this. It was so hard to get for the longest time, and then I got it, and when I finally read it, I was like, yeah, that was okay. It was just okay. It wasn't amazing. In fact, I was kind of like, is this all? Why is everyone going on about this? Honestly, it felt kind of nostalgic, like something I'd already read before. It didn't feel new. It didn't feel exciting. It didn't feel modern. It felt old-fashioned. It was like an old-fashioned BL. I don't know why, but I just kind of feel like it was hyped too much for me to be like, yeah, amazing, 5 stars. If it hadn't had any hype, I'd probably think... Also, I would probably just think, oh, well, this is okay. It's an odd one for Sublime to license, but alright. Whereas, now I'm like, what was all everyone going on about it? It's like, yeah, it's just okay. Now that I've got everyone to switch off and no longer watch this video, sorry, I'm so sorry, but it's how I really feel. What was my biggest reading accomplishment? By far, I feel like my biggest reading accomplishment was reading the whole of 1000 Autumns. It's a nice, big, long Chinese BL novel, and about 2 amazing characters, and I really want to do a video just on that because, oh my god, I loved them so much, and they just filled that little hole in my body that Love is an Illusion had now made, and I wasn't getting it every week, so I needed something, and I threw myself wholeheartedly into Word of Honor and 1000 Autumns. I was like fully on the Chinese BL train. enjoying my life in March and April. And then I had to wait, and then I was like, oh no, I can't read the final few chapters. And it wasn't just a few, it ended up being about 30 or something. And then someone called Y Superglue, thank you so much, I love you so much, thank you, has been translating all of the final chapters. So every week I had another chapter to read, so it just had that little like ongoing something to look forward to in life. And every week I was like, I love these guys, I want more of these guys, I just Shen Chao and Yamushi, oh my god, I just love them. And it was a really big achievement to read this whole big book, but also to then continuously read it as the weeks went on. And when the final extra was published and the whole thing was over and done with, and they just walked off into the sunset going, hey, do you want to go see some fancy looking rocks? Yeah, okay. I just loved it. It's the best ending to a book ever. Loved it. So yeah, if you want to read Thousand Autumns, you can now. Go and have a wee look. There's, I think, like a card or something with all of the details. Thoroughly recommend Thousand Autumns. The next question is, what was your favourite character? When it comes to the prose, this was quite easy. It just jumped right out at me, and it will come as no surprise. It's Everard from Bond, from the Forbidden Desires series. He's in every single book, and I fucking love him. He's so funny, he's so great, he's so annoying. Everyone just gets so annoyed with him. But I love him. He was the reason that I continued reading the whole series. He's the reason why I was like, what's the next book about? Because that was an okay book, Clutch. Great, interesting. There was a couple of annoying characters, but this character I want more of, and it turned out that he was in the second book, and he was the main character in the second book, so I had to read more. And then because I read that, that's the reason why I read the rest of the series. And he turns up in all of them. He's always there. I love him so much. He's hilarious. And I love that in Finch he's called a thieving, cake stealing bastard. He's so nosy. He wants it in everyone's business. He's just the best. And I did not expect that my favourite character in the prose anyway was going to be a 900-year-old dragon man. That's not what, if you'd asked me at the start of 2021 who's your favourite character, would be, oh well, yeah, a dragon man. No, did not see my life going the way it's going. When it comes to manga, my favourite characters are most definitely in Therapy Game. I love Shizuma and I love Minato, and I just love them so much. Hopefully Therapy Game Restart is actually available in the UK. I'm not sure. It might be available now, so I hope to get a copy of Restart because I really enjoyed reading Therapy Game Volumes 1 and 2 this year. I just love them. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous, they're sexy, they're funny. Just everything about them. They are just wonderful. So yeah, in terms of manga, they are my favourite characters. The next question is, what was your least favourite character? And I kind of have one that I should really talk about, and that is Everard's partner Harry, because he was the character that I really disliked in Clutch, and I grew to love him, so I can't have him as the character that I dislike anymore because I do actually love him now. The one that I really dislike is all of the characters in Dark Walker. That was absolutely awful. I hated that so much. I hated the fact that I actually finished it. I should have just DNF'd. It was appalling. The only reason I kept reading was because of the artwork on the front. But Tomoki, Naruse, and every other member of the cast of characters in that book. What a waste of time. Don't do it. Don't. Just save yourself. Dark Walker is awful. Terrible. 1-star read for me. And the worst things are, you're supposed to like them. They're like the main characters. Yeah, no. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. For favourite couple or OTP, I kind of feel like I've kind of already answered that. It's got to be Everard and Harry. And definitely Shizuma Minato in Therapy Game. So yeah, they're the same. It's the favourite characters, and I like the couples as well. So it's not too difficult to answer that one. Although if I did have to add in a few more, Will and Kim from Slippery Creatures, I love them too. Oh, it's hard to pick, but yeah, those are the ones that I like. The next question is, what book had the most surprising moment, or what was the most surprising book? And I think I have to go with one that might be a bit surprising to most people, and that is Johnny by Cardeno C. I did not expect the masturbation scene. Does anyone expect a masturbation scene? I did not expect that masturbation scene. I did not expect the penis to be described in such a way. And that was the moment that switched me on to male romance, gay romance, and especially in audiobook form. I was like, oh hello. This is happening now. It's happening, people. That was a revelation for me. I'm not sure if it was supposed to be surprising, but that was quite surprising. Also, it was surprising that I enjoyed the Omega Celibacy Club in general. That was surprising to me. Definitely there's been a few different ones. But also in the Royally Screwed book, there was a spanking scene, and that was a surprise to me as well. I was surprised by sex. It's kind of what I'm saying. Those scenes were like, oh hello. I guess there was a few other scenes. I don't want to spoil things, but there's a scene in Thousand Autumns that I was surprised and shocked and angry at, and I'm still not over, and it was traumatic, and even thinking about it, I'm like, no, you bastard. There was a few things where there's supposed to be a surprise or a shock, and I don't want to go talking about them, but basically, yes, masturbation, spanking, and betrayal in Thousand Autumns. That, if you know, you know. The betrayal scene, when he did what he did. Yeah, so those were surprising and shocking for me, and I really enjoyed them. The next question, what book had your favourite writing? And I have to say, anything by K.J. Charles. Everything by K.J. Charles. Which may be a surprise because, it was a surprise for me, but she worked as an editor, so everything that I've read of hers is absolutely precise, perfect, and feels like I'm reading a classic. It feels as though this person has gone, okay, you like Jane Austen, you like someone who's witty and precise with their language and has perfect grammar. There is nothing to nitpick about her writing at all, and in fact, when I read it, I feel I've become more intelligent. The fact that I'm reading male romance, and yet I still feel like I have educated myself. I now know more words than I knew before. Brilliant. Fantastic. I have been educated by this. I love that. It's not dumbing down in the slightest. K.J. Charles is fantastic, and I cannot wait to read everything that she has written. The next question is, what book did you push the most people to read? Well, I don't know, because I don't know how many people went off to actually read anything that I recommended. So you guys will have to let me know in the comments down below. Did you actually read something that you heard me talk about and go, okay, that sounds interesting? One that I know someone did read was A Man of Virtue, and they read the whole thing, and I know that they did because they contacted me and we ended up doing this like exchange points on lesson where if one person buys it, your friend gets it. And so we both did this, and so we both got free coins, which was great because I didn't have to buy any more coins for the rest of the year. And the reason I did it is because they said, you know what, you made that video before Christmas about how much A Man of Virtue was great, and I just went and I was like, okay, I'll give it a go, and I bought the whole thing, and I felt really bad because that's a lot of coins, and I still don't have the whole thing because I've just been doing it whenever I get free coins. So yeah, that's the only one I know. A Man of Virtue. Someone definitely went and read it. So if you have read anything that I have recommended, because you heard me recommend it, please let me know, because I don't really get like the kind of feedback like that. So let me know if you've read anything I've recommended. I have not pushed, other than Dragon Empreg and Spanking Princes. The next question is, what book had the best cover? And I think without a doubt the prose one is A Marvellous Light. It is stunningly beautiful, really gorgeous, and I'd love to have an actual physical hardback copy when I can. When it comes to manga, it's an interesting one. There are quite a few very, very beautiful ones, and I could go with like I Hear the Sunspot because it is beautiful, but I think the most accomplished one is actually a series. That's the Lost Letters series. The fact that she was able to create not just these 4 beautiful covers, but the 4 underneath that are the surprise covers, and have all 8 of these images be cohesive, and yet she was able to make these covers over a long period of time, and she had not planned to do it. Sakai Kusama, what an artistic genius. Really shows like, oh, could I let people know what a genius I am? No, I'll just show them. And that's what it felt like when it came to the Lost Letters covers. So I'm very impressed. It's always impressive to see them. And it does just highlight all the little nuances within the story as well. Oh, such a good job. Real pure genius. The next question is the best adaptation, and I can't say that I've actually watched that many things. Thousand Autumns so far is a good adaptation, but it's not finished. What else? I did watch Yes, No or Maybe, and I read the novel too, so perhaps that would be what I would count as the best adaptation. The next question is, what book made me cry the most? And I think it's pretty obvious for anyone who watched the vlog. When I was reading I Hear the Sunspot, volume 5 or volume 3 of Limit, I sobbed, I cried like a baby, and I cried the whole way through, every 10 pages. Every 10 pages, crying, and I just filmed it, so you all got to see me just crying the whole way through. And I don't think even a prose book, like I cried in Rule Breaker by Lily Morton, sobbed. There was a few different ones as well that I sobbed in, but listening to Peter Gabriel and thinking of Lily Morton books, and it was like, oh god, I cried a lot then too. So those were the 2 that I think I would say I cried the most this year. But oh my god, I Hear the Sunspot just gets me every single time, and I cannot wait for more. Give me those tears. Give me those fat, heavy tears. I love it. The next question is, what book made you laugh the most? And it's kind of a difficult one. Love is an Illusion always makes me laugh. I always laugh at it. It's hilarious. But I think also a random one that maybe I'd forgotten about was The Medalist. The moment when you were just thinking about it right now. The moment when he's late because he stopped and he found a dog, and the picture of the dog was manspreading, and the dog in the background was manspreading, was one of the most hilarious panels I have ever witnessed. Who came up with that? Well, Tsurumai Kada did, but I absolutely loved the manspreading dog panel. It was just too funny. In terms of prose as well, I think anything by Lily Morton had me cackling out loud in the shopping, when I was like in the supermarket shopping. It was laugh out loud funny. So I think anything by Lily Morton as well, that would be for that category. The next question is, what were your favourite rereads? When it comes to this year, I did so many rereads. So I had probably around 61 rereads this year. 61 books were rereads. They were either books I read for the first time and reread, or books that I was rereading. And so many. Jackass is always a favourite. Cute Devil is always a favourite. But I have to say, in terms of like prose, it would be With Abandon. I love With Abandon. I just love the With or Without series so much. I'm so pleased to be able to have all 3 volumes in my possession now. It makes me so happy, and I'm going to continue to read them. And I'm gonna have to pick up all of the Forbidden Desires series as well, because I reread the shit out of them. Probably royally screwed as well. I'm gonna have to pick up physical volumes because, yeah, I loved my rereads this year. This 2021 was the year of the reread, and I loved all my rereads. So many. Suzumaru Minta as well. I read a few of her works, and I think I reread them on Futekia too. So yeah, rereading digital, rereading audible, rereading physical, it didn't matter. Loved my rereads this year. The next question is, who is your favourite newly discovered author? And that's a really tricky one, but if it has to be for the prose that I read this year, Lynn Van Dorn, Lily Morton, KJ Charles. They're kind of easy ones. In terms of manga, I don't really think there's many that are newly discovered, except on Futekia titles that were kind of newly published in English, but they weren't really new because I was kind of aware of them anyway. So it's like not too much of a surprise that I liked certain authors, like Suzumaru Minta, absolutely love. Probably Kuroi Mori as well. I really enjoy their work. And Koyama, I've actually enjoyed Koyama's work as well on Futekia. So there's a few good ones that I hadn't read before that I was pleasantly surprised about. And the last question is, what was the best non-fiction book that you read this year? I only read one. There was only one, so I've only got one to actually choose from. And I have to say, it was a bloody good book. So I'm very happy that I read it. And that is about asexuality. I actually cried about when I read this book. So even though it's a non-fiction book, I was emotionally affected, and it really was nice to just read a little something that said you are valid, you are seen, and you are fine the way you are. A quick and easy guide to asexuality by Molly Muldoon and Will Hernandez. And it really did have quite an emotional impact on me. I will push this one. This one's coming out I think in March for physical copies and to purchase, because I got quite an advanced copy on NetGalley, and I was so happy to read this. It's so nice to have something that is easy to understand and easy to kind of recommend to anyone who might know someone who's asexual. Just to have someone say, you're not broken. You're not broken. It's such a powerful message to anyone who has felt for the longest time that there must be something wrong with me. So yeah, this was a really good one, and the only one that I read non-fiction, but the best, certainly the best. So that was everything on the superlatives or reading survey. That took longer than I thought it was going to. There were actually quite a lot of questions. I'm really pleased that I was able to go through this and try and pick out some answers to some of the questions. Some of them are more difficult to answer. I would love to know some of your answers to these questions, or if you have done a reading survey yourself, if you have a blog or you're doing it on YouTube, anything, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to know what your answers are, or if you're just going to do it this year. If you've got any questions about some of my answers. I'm so sorry, Dickbite Island. I'm so sorry, please forgive me. Don't kick me out of the Fujo Club. I feel like that's the most controversial answer. I did enjoy doing this, and it has helped me to go through my reading for the year, to look at everything that I read and what was the best. And I hope that you do this as well. And I hope that I will do it next year and I can compare and contrast. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me to the end of this quite long video. I thought it was going to be a lot shorter than it is. I am 365-801 and I make videos about male romance, yaoi, BL manga and all that good stuff. Thanks for sticking with me to the end. Take care everyone. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!